Welcome to another episode of REVXO Presents. This is our final episode of 2024, and I am excited to be joined by the Revolution team. We've got Ben, Theo, Julia, Gio, and Tony on. What's up, guys?
Hey, how you doing, Chris?
All right. So as you guys have, we've done this a couple times where we do this like year-end recap. What's cool? What are brands doing? Like, what are some trends? And I think this is the third or fourth year we've done it. Every year our group gets bigger. This year we've got Gio from our creative team. We've got our core team that works on REVXP, which is the gaming division of Revolution. And we're really excited this year to share some trends, some things that we saw out in the marketplace, whether it be at an event, online, a live stream piece of content, what that means for brands, and really just go around and share our insights in industry expertise with those of you watching out there. Obviously, this year has been a banner year for our agency at Revolution as we continue to grow globally, as well as activating with our clients in gaming like Chipotle. We've all seen the power of gaming and how gaming really is like this core passion point, and how Revolution through RevXP connects brands with those communities, with those core passion points, and how that could result in a really incredible activation, as well as like driving business objectives and KPIs. When we put together our insights with their sound strategy for a brand, it is very, very impactful. And so with that, we're going to share these insights, but let's go around the horn real quick and do some introductions. So let's start off with the man fresh out of Vegas playing in the softball world championships. What's up, Ben? Do a little quick introduction for yourself.
What's going on, Chris? How's everyone doing? Hyped to be back on the show here. I know I was a part of one last year, so can't wait to be a part of the recap for 2024 here as we head into the new year. My name is Ben Colancini. I'm a supervisor account management for the RevXP team here. I manage clients like Chipotle, Call of Duty Endowment, help with AWS, other clients across the board. Again, excited to be here.
Thanks, Ben. Next up is the man, Revolution's own Fresh Prince, Theo Gwynn. What's up, buddy?
What's up, everyone? Yeah, as Chris mentioned, my name's Theo Gwynn. I've been at Revolution for 3 years, pretty much help out with all our accounts on the gaming side. So Call of Duty Endowment, Chipotle, and any other clients that come through from the gaming side of things. I also help out with the traditional sports side as well, more so in the NIL space. But yeah.
Thanks, Theo. Next up is one of the top women in gaming and esports this year, our very own Julia Seaton.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, guys. My name is Julia Seaton. I am the account director here at Revolution for all of our gaming-focused clients, so Chipotle and the Call of Duty Endowment. So working closely with Ben and Theo, and based out of Los Angeles.
All right. This year, a newcomer to the REVXP Presents podcast, whatever you want to call it, vlog. One of the core members of our creative team that works on everything gaming, Gio Stewart. What is up, Gio? Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Longtime gamer, first-time REVXP presenter. So yeah, hi, I'm Gio. I'm a group creative director here at Rev out of Chicago. And as Chris said, work on Chipotle, work on code, but then also lots of stuff across kind of the rest of the organization, from NetApp to the Cricket World Cup.
That's awesome. Well, welcome, Gio. We will treat you kindly on your first appearance.
Thanks.
And then last, but certainly not least, someone who needs no introduction to those in the gaming community. However, if you play sports, he will need an introduction to you, Mr. Tony Yuan.
Hi, this is Tony, Director of Gaming at RevXP. Been here for maybe almost 4 years. Wow.
4 years.
And I'm here to talk to you guys about gaming and also put Chris in my backpack in Marvel Rivals.
Tony, quick question before we jump in. A lot of stuffed animals back there. Which one of those do you sleep with?
All of them. I actually just sleep on that couch right there. That's why I'm always at work.
All right. Now that we've got the icebreaker out of the way, people came not to know what stuffed animals Tony is enjoying sleeping with, but we want to hear what's going on this year, right? Like, what are some of the things that we've seen? We've all been at events. We've all watched content. We're all tuning into live streams, whether for our clients or or for other brands, and just tuning in because we're part of the community. And so let's go around the horn. Let's learn about what the biggest moments in 2024 were from our team, and also what those moments mean from brands. And we're going to start with Theo. And Theo, take us through, like, what was the coolest thing you saw? And like, how should brands think about that?
Yeah, no, of course, seeing our work with Chipotle, continuing the FGC this year with Tekken 8 was really cool. But another moment that I thought was really interesting and really cool, in my perspective, was McDonald's tapping into Kai Cenat for the launch of the Chicken Big Mac. I thought it was cool for a few reasons, but like the main reason was how they rolled out everything. So like if you're looking at it, they let Kai be himself. Like they kept the campaign and it made it feel like he was like super authentic. They also allowed him to take over their social profiles. Like you generally don't see big brands do that with influencers, but it makes sense if you really think about it, especially when you're working with someone who is known as a internet personality. It makes sense to have them take over your social profile. So I thought that was cool to see McDonald's tap into him and leverage him in that capacity. I think the other thing that made it like a huge moment or even a bigger moment is just having other celebrities tune in as well and be a part of the moment. So having John Cena and Serena Williams go on Kai's stream and promote the Chicken Big Mac, it just made it feel like a bigger moment. So I feel like everyone knew about the Chicken Big Mac. If not, I feel like you were probably living under a rock, but this was like one of the coolest moments I saw this year.
Yeah, and I thought it was really interesting, like the value that McDonald's brought to the activation, like bringing John Cena, bringing all these like major celebrities and like helping. Kai doesn't need that. He's already big, but like creating this like can't miss cultural moments, like this super entertaining content. Like that's what the community wants to see, right? And how a good example of how a brand can really help amplify what's going on. Julia, from your perspective, what was the biggest moment for you this year and what did you learn from it? What should brands learn from it?
I think biggest moment for me personally, and one that I'll talk about, is of course Chipotle's integrations in Tekken 8. I thought it was really special that players actually had an opportunity to compete against a king character in the fight lounge to actually earn the branded collaboration items in the game. I think this was a really special kind of integration level into the gameplay experience that we haven't really seen very much of in the industry. And it was just a great opportunity for, brands to find the right partners and really find the right games and areas to invest where they can make impact and really build those connections with players.
Yeah, to your point, right? Like a lot of brands are like, hey, we're in gaming, we're putting a logo in a game or on a stream. And like, again, well thought out strategy, industry expertise kind of coming together with our team, with a great client like Chipotle and like with a great partner like Bandai Namco, and like finding ways to actually show up that were additive and not evasive. Like brand marketers out there, you don't just need to have your logo in a game to say you had a logo in a game. In fact, we would caution you not to do that. We have to find ways to use gaming and that connection, that passion point, which is what we did and where Julia shared in the example. Essentially in Tekken, the multiplayer fight lounge, you go in, you challenge a character in Tekken, and you won some really cool content, from the game, right? A really organic collaboration and really rewarded players for their experience. So stay away from just like, hey, we need to be in a game. Like if you want to go be in a game, like there's mobile games that you can do that with. Like I'm sure there's a lot of mobile publishers that want to buy media, but if you really want to create a connection, like think about ways strategically to get in. And with that, the man behind a lot of the strategy, the man from our creative team, Gio, what's on your plate? You like my segue?
It was very good. It was very good. I was actually really struck by the success of Astrobot, the PS5 game, because if you think about it, like Sony has been sort of on and off searching for a flagship character. It's their 30th year anniversary of the PlayStation this year, and they've had like signatures, but not really something that was just like absolutely lockstep identified with that brand. I mean, in the game, you're flying a PlayStation controller, you live in the PlayStation 5 as a ship and everything like that. And some of that stuff could seem really like cringy and weird, but actually comes off really well because of the spirit that it's executed with. And I thought, like, from a brand standpoint, it was really, I guess, sort of like about identity in kind of two ways. Like one, it was a really like very like full-throated embrace of their identity as a company, but it also kind of reminded me of the lesson of like how important it is for a brand to have that identity as well. And we've obviously referenced some of the Chipotle work, and like their space within sort of the gaming community is like carving out kind of an identity and a personality. And to your point, not just kind of like popping up and buying an asset or popping up and slapping a logo on something.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a great game and really cool to see Sony like kind of hopefully found their Mario. And what does that mean? Like how we always see like how Mario's activated and like is Sony going to approach Astrobot, in the same way? And obviously a really incredible opportunity for them to have this owned IP now on their own platform. Tony, from your perspective, what do you got for the share?
Yeah, I think, there's been a lot of discussion about game publishers, but we can't forget the influencers and talent that have really made a big splash in the gaming world. I think particularly with the younger generation, people want to see a face to the content. They want to see, someone they can connect with. And so my number one would be Uber Eats partnering with Phantom around his Gen Z meme, the Phantom Tax, and providing Phantom Tax relief to their audience, offering Uber Eats credits so people can order more food in case, someone comes in and Phantom taxes, which means taking a portion of their food.
Yeah, really cool. And obviously that showed up a ton on Kai Stream with the Chicken Big Mac and just like how that has organically, become such a part of youth culture. I know Theo's been, doing some Phantom taxing in our office in Chicago. So hopefully he's left you alone, Gio.
Yeah, so far so good.
All right, Ben. Last but certainly not least, I see you and Theo did coordinate amongst your headwear today. So kudos to you guys for those of you best friends forever. And share whatever you got, what you got on the radar.
Yeah, this was a program, a project our team actually worked on with the Call of Duty Endowment. So in partnership with the Endowment and Through Dark, which is a UK-based organization, UK-based brand, we created a in-game item. So created an operator skin, 2 weapon camos, as well as some stickers and weapon charms that were all exclusive items that were available in-game, as well as in partnership with Through Dark, created merchandise. So merchandise that was available for the operator itself in the game that you can also purchase on the Through Dark website in real life. All donations went back to the Call of Duty Endowment, of course, supporting veterans, finding them high quality jobs, but just an incredible program to be able to see real life merchandise not only come to life in game, but come to life in IRL, in the real world as well.
Yeah, it's obviously really cool. Obviously, a client of ours, and we support a lot of their activations with all their partners. And I think that, you always talk about like, what do players want from every community? And they always want in-game content. And then you throw in the fact that Call of Duty Endowment gives you that in-game content, but also like does it to support military veterans. Like that's a win-win situation for the players, the veterans. Everybody feels good about it. From my perspective, I think the coolest thing I saw this year is I was able to get out to London for League of Legends Worlds again. It was the first one I had to be in sight on for since 2019. And obviously the community league's the biggest game. Worlds is like this epic event. It's like this can't miss. It's like the Super Bowl of esports, right? And a sold out O2 arena. But one of the coolest activations I saw was Oppo, the mobile phone manufacturer. I believe they're out of China. They had this really cool activation during the Fan Fest leading up to the event. And they had a string quartet, like a cello player, and they had all these like classically trained musicians, and they were all playing. They were playing like some pop tunes, but they were playing music from League of Legends. And like there was this huge crowd around it because League of Legends is, Riot obviously leans really in with their music. And I would say for brands out there, like that's a really out of the box way to like connect the game and like you as like this top-notch device manufacturer and like music and passion. So it was just really different and out of the box. And I really enjoyed checking it out and really seeing like how the community around took it in, while everyone was doing like, photo ops and cosplay and giveaways. Hey, they were just like kind of doing a mini concert and it really stood out and it was very, very well done. So kudos to those guys. All right. So next up, this is a little bit different, right? Like we talked about from the brand perspective, but there are cool things that are happening that, hey, maybe have nothing to do with brands. Maybe there are experiences that we're having. Maybe there are things that we've seen. And what are those things, right? Because gaming is about culture. It's about lifestyle. It's more than just watching and playing games. It's coming together. And so I wanted to throw to you guys, like, just what was something really cool this year? Because maybe it'll spark inspiration for someone out there. We'll start with Ben.
So let me paint the picture. For our partnership last year with Chipotle and the FGC at EVO, we created some awesome content, specifically with Sajam. One of our viral posts, if you will, on Twitter, Instagram, totally blew up, specifically with the FGC community, just becoming a viral meme, if you will. Anyway, fast forward to EVO 2024. We're doing a meet and greet at the Chipotle booth on site at EVO. This random participant, no relationship to Chipotle or to Sajam, just a guest attending EVO, comes up with a custom fight stick. So that is your controller in the FGC, right? Comes up with a custom fight stick with our Sajam meme plastered all over the fight stick. It was absolutely incredible to see talent. Specifically, Sajam loved it. Took a ton of pictures with him. Sajam even signed the fight stick. Our team took a ton of photos with him. So it was just an awesome moment, not only for us, but to see talent just get so excited about it as well. Again, Chris, you just touched on it. That cultural lifestyle balance in gaming, really saw it come to life firsthand at EVO.
Yeah, that kid's my new best friend. He made our job a lot. He made our job a lot easier, right? Like seeing that and seeing the passion, the connectivity. It's awesome. Hopefully, we'll be able to. I think we have a photo of it. Maybe we could throw it up in the as you talk through it, and for the as people watch it, they can actually see how cool it was. Bring it to life. Theo, what about from your perspective?
Yeah, I'm going to go a different angle because I was actually playing Fortnite last night with my cousin, and he actually hustled me out of getting some V-Bucks. And what did he use those V-Bucks for? He used it for some Nike kicks in the game. So I think the crossover between Nike and Fortnite and being able to get your favorite pair of Jordans or get a pair of Air Maxes and put it on your character and play around, run around with that, I think that's super cool. That goes back into what Ben was just saying, and you as well, Chris, in terms of the crossover between, pop culture and in the gaming world. So that was probably one of the coolest things that I saw.
Yeah, shout out to Nick Rupp and the Nike team on that one. Makes a ton of sense to do that. Obviously, cosmetics in games like Fortnite and League of Legends and across the board are like billion-dollar business for these game publishers. And, just like you want to look fly, fresh, and flashy, in real life, you want to look that in game as well. And I can't wait to get on Fortnite and grab some Black Cement 3s for my Boba Fett skin. And it's crazy because they said by next year, 95% of all Fortnite skins will be compatible with the Nike kicks, which is like, what are the 5% that aren't? Like, where are those? That's going to be like, what's up with that? So, but yeah, I'll definitely, next time we get on there and Tony carries us to victory, we'll have to get some Black Cement. Maybe we could all rock some Black Cement 3s.
Yeah, we'll look good. We'll look good to win.
Team effort, right? Together we all accomplish more. Julia, what about you?
I would have to say probably the coolest thing that I got to see firsthand this year was being on site at Code Bowl for the Call of Duty Endowment. It was not only hosted at just a really incredible and historic venue in Washington, D.C., but it was also an opportunity to bring together so many different military teams, so many top streamers to really compete and support a common cause. I thought that was really special, incredibly high production value, and a great event to be a part of.
Yeah, it was an awesome event. And the fact that what was the name of the venue? That it was National Building Museum?
National Building Museum.
It was such an incredible venue for the fact that like the Call of Duty game and how like it ties into all this like geopolitics, and it was the perfect setup, and it was just really impressive. The thought that goes into that and the content that they're able to produce, and obviously then you have the military service branches like competing in the game. It brings it together really well. So you shout out to our friends at Activision for their continued efforts there and making that such a can't miss event. All right, Gio. What was your kind of inspirational moment this year?
I'll popcorn off Ben a little bit because this was the first chance that I had to attend EVO and see, one of these like large scale events in person. I've certainly like worked on stuff in the past and understood it kind of theoretically, but we talk about the FGC and we're sort of like used to that acronym, but seeing the community really like come to life and kind of band together around like that shared passion is really compelling. And it's interesting because it's like, I was really struck by the fact that it's like kind of split between two things. You've got the larger sort of like con area, which kind of shares some DNA with your Comic-Cons of the world and stuff, where like everybody might have their own particular game that they're into, but everybody's there for the same reason and sort of bonding over that. And then when you put sort of like plunk the arena down right in the middle of it and watch your brand get cheered for when their commercial shows up and everything, and see people go as nuts as they do for, 8 straight hours for a variety of different games. It's just a whole different thing for real than it is kind of on paper. So, the fact that we can kind of like translate that experience to people and stuff is awesome. So seeing it live was great.
Yeah, it was cool to experience that with you and be out the Evos. That was my second Evo. A lot of us are second Evo with Chipotle being the presenting partner. And I think the really interesting thing for us, like around Evo, is like hearing how this event that's been around for 20 years, now is like the favorite event to some of the biggest creators in the world. Like they want to go to Evo. There's all these incredible events out there, and take nothing away from them. But to hear some of the biggest creators in the world be at Evo for the first time, I'd be like, wow, we are also having an incredible experience. We love this community. I think it's something for brands to have on the radar. And I know a lot too, as they're starting to activate, and we've had a ton of success there, which has helped elevate that. Our friends at RTS and Sony PlayStation have done a great job in really making that event like really one of the biggest moments on the calendar. And I believe as we round this out with Tony, I think he's also going to share something with Evo. And it was a pretty cool moment for all of us this year to witness.
Yeah, I mean, as a previous competitor, I knew that getting involved in EVO for the second year meant that I had to go and play an EVO. I just had to do it. It was awesome. My first time ever playing EVO. Obviously, didn't make it very far in the pools, but it was almost like a little bit of nostalgia, kind of competing and preparing for the competition. And I had a coach me for like a couple weeks leading up to EVO. That was a lot of fun. I think just the community element of EVO, seeing how the everyday player can go and compete and have an opportunity to play at their favorite event. The participatory nature of EVO is, I think, part of the secret formula that makes it so successful every single year.
Yeah, to your point, anyone can play an Evo, even if you just picked up a new game, which I know you had just picked up a couple months before. And
under 100 hours.
Yeah,
I went in, and
we were there, and we were living and dying by every combo that you were dishing out and getting hit with. When Theo and I were there, we were hyped. We were trying to get hyped because we really wanted to see you go on and win. And we'll see. Maybe next year we'll get you out and we can play again.
We should have given 2 entree cards to the winner of Tony's pool bracket.
Right. When they beat Tony, we should have handed them a Chipotle entree card. Like, congrats.
That's so funny.
Like, wait, what? All right. So guys, obviously we're all about like innovation and what's happening in the future. What are the trends that are going on? And so, as we close this out, we look to 2025, there's a lot of uncertainty on things that are happening all over the place. But gaming seems to almost be a little bit of, I would say, recession proof. Hopefully, people are still gaming during the pandemic. Gaming, was such a thing that people turn to. And you got to think that, amongst a lot of uncertainty, political, economic, that gaming is going to be there for people because it's still a number one passion point. And so with that, what are some trends that brands need to have on their radar as we hit 2025? And I will start with Ben to get us going.
Yeah, I would say the rise of like creator-led products and collabs, if you will. Like we're already seeing a ton of influencers in the space. One that comes to mind immediately is like Disguised Toast, right? Having their own merch line, creating their own FGC team. In 2025, I definitely expect to see more influencers branching out, doing their own thing in the space. So that's one. And I have a two-part question, a two-part answer here for you. My second call out would be the return of like exclusive items, if you will, right? Like that limited time only item. That's not only going to happen now in game where you're going to be able to market and enhance the in-game item for the player base, but that in-game item is also now going to be seen in real life. Like I called out already for the Endeavor Tracer Pack with the Call of Duty Endowment, we're seeing a brand like Through Dark activate in-game as well as create that same in-game item in real life. Another brand that comes to mind is Polaris, doing the same thing with one of their Razor Pro R4s. In Call of Duty, right? You can drive the Razor in-game in Warzone, and then you can buy that same Razor in real life. So I expect to see that exclusive item, limited time only item, really come back, make a major return. But again, it's going to be twofold. It's going to be in-game and in real life here for 2025.
It's awesome, Ben. Good call out. Theo, what about you?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest trends to watch out for in 2025 is the continued rise of mobile gaming. I mean, if you think about it, everyone has a smartphone. Smartphones aren't going anywhere. And honestly, the technology for smartphones is going to continue to advance to a point where mobile devices are probably going to be one day deliver like console-like gaming experience to different users. So I would say mobile gaming, the other part of that as well is mobile gaming is very accessible. Not everyone has, the top-notch PC setup like yourself, or doesn't have, the latest and greatest, console like the Xbox Series X or the PS5. So most people have, an iPhone or an Android, some type of smartphone. So I think mobile gaming is the area that people should keep an eye out for.
Absolutely. Mobile gaming isn't what's next, it's what's now. And what do you think, Julia?
I think piggybacking a little bit on what Theo said, but with more of a casual lean, something that I thought was really interesting is the New York Times Games app was a cultural impact winner in this year's App Store Awards. I think it makes a lot of sense when you consider how many people have made New York Times games like part of their daily ritual, part of their daily communication with friends and family. I'm definitely one of those people. And I think it's a really good example of how more and more people are making gaming a part of their lives outside of what you might traditionally consider the gaming community or the gaming audience. I think if you look at that kind of trend, if you look at things like the mainstream success of shows and movies that are based on game IP, it really paints that picture of how much of a shift we've seen and are continuing to see on those traditional definitions of a gamer. So I think it's just for brands thinking less about gaming as an audience to tap into and more so thinking about gaming as a tactic for reaching your audience, because odds are they are gamers in some capacity already.
Yeah, if you're using sports, if you're using entertainment properties, music, movies, like, why aren't you using gaming? Because, the amount of money spent on gaming, especially globally, is equal to or more than music and movies, right? Like, there's that passion point. So I think that that's a great call out, especially when it comes to the casual gamer. Huge opportunity. All right, Tony, and then we'll end with Gio.
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest trend that I've been excited about is games being more friendly to players who are more casual to midcore. I think in the past, particularly in the past like 5 to 10 years, there's been a lot of games where playing a single game will take upwards of 30 minutes to an hour. So like think of a game like League of Legends, Valorant, Counter-Strike. So some of these are still the biggest games in our industry. But nowadays, like with the release of Marvel Rivals, a game can be as short as 5 to 10 minutes. And, existing games are adding shorter formats. So Valorant, fewer rounds, quick play, League of Legends, quick play, and limited time modes. I think that's what is really going to help keep gamers, particularly, who are, in their career in, 30s and above, that's going to keep them in the pool of gaming rather than just quitting gaming altogether because they don't have the time for it, right? Like not a lot of people have the time to commit that. And being able to play games for 5 to 15 minutes rather than 30 minutes to an hour is going to make a huge difference in retaining players.
Yeah, I think so. And I think to your point, right? It's like that casual and getting that in great experience for a quick hit. And guys, huge shout out to Tony, because Tony, longtime RuneScape player, maxed out his account this year.
That's not 15 or 30 minutes.
No, it's not. No. That's that nerd stuff right there. Anyway, Gio.
I guess I can probably try to kind of connect a couple of dots here, because to me, I think, we've got probably the next big thing coming up in like 4-quadrant gaming of Switch 2's release, whenever and whatever that is. Like, it's still kind of shrouded in mystery, but Nintendo has a sort of like unique special sauce of being able to kind of like bind together those generations, and people who might spend a fair amount of time there playing Call of Duty or whatever are like also pretty good Mario Karters and stuff, because it just sort of like hits that kind of like inner core everybody's a gamer at some level kind of aspect. So they're threading the needle with that aspect of kind of like not being locked to a location, and your home game can also be your mobile game and stuff like that. But it'll be really interesting to see what that means for something that really works across like the entire spectrum of gamers. And some of these notes have been sort of like redefining for brands like who that is. I think brands have certainly matured and started to understand, but some of them will still have a somewhat let's say maybe outdated impression of what a gamer is, and when you realize that that's like literally anybody, I think sort of seeing what that move in the marketplace will hit for next year will be really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, to build on that, I think the big thing is like gaming isn't just watching and playing games, right? And I think a trend that we've all seen for the last couple of years is the most viewed channels on platforms like Twitch is like the just chatting category, which makes up like travel vlogs and fitness and health and sports. And so if you're a brand marketer out there, like as a trend, that's been ongoing for a few years, is like, don't think about gaming as just watching it. Like, oh, I have to sponsor this streamer playing this game. Like lifestyle content, travel content. And I think that opens it up to a lot more brands. For example, there's not a lot of airlines that are activating in gaming right now, but 69% of gamers can, 69% of airline customers consider themselves gamers. Like that's massive, right? Almost 70% of airline customers are gamers, but yet like, where are the airlines like partnering with a creator who's like flying to Japan or flying to Vegas or flying to Italy and doing some travel vlog, right? It's bigger than just watching and playing games. And so like, keep that in mind. Like that trend's been ongoing and it's really exciting. Guys, last thing, hot take. Anyone have a accomplishment this year similar to Tony maxing out his RuneScape account? Anyone want to throw out a major gaming accomplishment? Come on, we got to have a couple more. Come, I know you got something, Ben.
Yeah, let's see. I finished more season passes in Marvel Snap this year.
Yes. There we go. I haven't missed a season pass and have slowed down on my Infinite, but yes, Marvel Snap is going. Ben, come on, you got something, bro.
I got you. Beat the Elden Ring add-on, right? So how to get that accomplished, of course. As well as for the new Call of Duty Warzone. Already led one of our team here, REVXP, to a dub, so I'll take that as an accomplishment. Thank you, Tony and Theo. As well as I have a 4KD right now in Warzone, got 25 wins. Game's only been out for 3 weeks. Don't have a ton of time to play, so I'm dominating.
You've been competing in softball and getting married. Like, look at that. Theo,
exactly.
Anything from you?
Man, I wish. I don't have anything nearly as impressive as Tony and Ben, so no, I'm going to have to pass on this one.
Maybe you'll win our NCAA what's it, Dynasty. I mean, I did lose my first game and throw 4 picks, so you got a good chance. you got a good chance. Julie, anything from you? I know you've been crushing it on the Rift.
Oh, absolutely. No, I have a terrible answer. I think the closest thing that I have is I haven't even done it yet, but I'm really close, and it's my goal before end of year to break 2 minutes on the easy Sudoku in the New York Times Games app. So
very nice.
That's amazing. Well, I think my biggest accomplishment has been getting to see all of you evolve over your careers over the last few years and having the chance to work with you in terms of being a gamer. Just getting to witness Tony's incredible FPS play and being there for the countless wins that we've had on Fortnite, where Tony yells at me for doing something I shouldn't be doing. That is my biggest. I have a lot of Fortnite dubs because Tony carries.
How about carrying your little nephew to a Fortnite dub? How about that one?
We did carry him. But no, I really appreciate all you guys. And I think, listen, it is, I always say I think our work, not only because we're here and because we're doing it, but I think that we hear a lot across the industry, the view of our work and the perspective of being, best in class. And that is everyone on this call amongst many other teammates that aren't on this call. And kudos to you guys. And, the highlight for me is working with all you guys and sharing those experiences, whether it being Gio's first, Evo, or watching Tony get to compete, or Ben and Theo sharing a meal at Evo, every meal, the same meal, and Julie is obviously incredible accomplishment and very well deserved with top women in gaming and esports. All you guys are awesome within your own right and bring something really unique to the team. And so shout out. And, as brand marketers, hopefully tune in and watch this. When you work with Revolution, you work with RevXP, you don't get one person or two people. You get people that actually really care a lot about the space and, care about your brand and making sure your brand shows up in a really incredible way. They use gaming as its true passion point that it is. And so with that, happy holidays, everyone. Enjoy your time off, play some games, have some fun. And I think we'll see you in 2025. We got some really cool stuff cooking for RevXP Presents. I know we didn't do a lot of episodes this year, but we are committing to doing more next year and having some awesome guests on as we've had in the past, and dropping insights and dropping hot takes and delivering value to those out there. So thank you guys, and we'll see everybody soon.
Cheers all. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, guys.